everybody and welcome back to my channel. So last week we did a full face of new TEMU makeup, and today I thought it was only right that we do Sheglam. However, it's not new makeup, this is just all the Sheglam makeup I own. So let's go ahead and get started. I did, however, make a new order for Sheglam makeup, but unfortunately that's in the UK with my partner and he'll only bring it with him when he comes back. Let's go ahead and get this on our faces. So starting with brows, I do not have a brow gel or like a brow pencil because the one I have is finished. So I have this, I don't even remember what it's called anymore and I'm not entirely sure if they make it, but I got this in 2021. I've used all the pencil, but it has a brow like marker on the other side and this is still going. So I think that's pretty good, but my NYX lift and snatch has taken prevalence over everything else. I'm just gonna go ahead and fill this in. The color, as you can see, is quite warm, but the pen itself isn't too bad. It doesn't have like a shaky thing though, so that's why I'm shocked that it still has some left in it. I think it came out way too fast in the beginning there, but still I think it looks quite natural. Sometimes I like to fill the front of my brow in a little bit lighter, but this is just a little bit too warm, but the pen itself is really, really nice. TEMU, I don't think I loved the pencil. If I remember correctly, it was just a little bit too thick and too waxy, but I really love a double-ended pen, so you can use the ink side and you can use the pencil to fill in bigger areas. Forgot to clip my hair. Just freshly washed as well, so it's looking pretty shiny. I put a mask in for like over 24 hours, so yeah, it better be shiny. Let's move into primers. So I've mentioned this in the worst makeup I tried in 2024 so far. So this is the Sheglam Pore Eraser Blurring Stick. Like I said, I don't love this. It's very dry and leaves you almost with a white cast, but I'm going to put a little bit just in my T-zone, but it also makes the makeup look a bit dry and like crusty. If I can, I will try and find prices of these and put them up on the screen so you can see a comparison, but I do know it is a little bit more expensive than TEMU is. TEMU, I guess it's not one consistent brand, it's a bunch of third-party sellers all throwing their things on a website, whereas Sheglam, this is their own brand, so I guess that does warrant being a little bit more expensive. But for the primer all over our face, we're going to go ahead and use the Love Dive Sheglam primer, and it says Love Dive at First Sight Moisturizing Primer, and this is very moisturizing. That came out funny. Very moisturizing. It doesn't really smell of much, but it's a full-on gel moisturizer. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and take a little bit and we'll just apply that on the rest of the face. I was sold on the packaging with that one for sure, but I did see a couple of people try this. It's just a moisturizing primer, nothing crazy, but it does get the job done. Your face is very moisturized and plumped afterwards. I mean, I don't know why it's a shock that it's moisturized, but some moisturizing primers kind of make your skin just a little bit too tacky or a little bit like tight. So this is a proper moisturizing primer for sure. If I had to pick between the two, I definitely would pick this. I also have another one in the UK called the Birthday Skin Primer, and I think I prefer this one as well because the Birthday Skin Primer kind of leaves you again with a cast. It's great if you have a foundation that is slightly too deep for you, that could work, but I definitely prefer this one. If I sound very nasally, it's also because I am just recovering from a cold. I took my last antibiotic yesterday, so I'm feeling a lot better, but I still sound very nasally, so I'm sorry if that's annoying. I want to move into foundation, but I still want to give this a second to dry down, so I'm just going to give that about 30 seconds just to settle in the skin. I know I spoke for a bit there, but I just don't want to disrupt anything, so let's go ahead and wait 30 seconds and then we'll go ahead and move on to foundation. If the angles change slightly, I had to change my battery out as well, so that is the reason. So I do have a couple of foundations, or let's say a few, because I have 3 foundations from Sheglam. I have the Skinfluencer, but that was too deep for me, so I've given that to my mom to use, and that's a balm type creamy foundation. It is quite thick, but it is long lasting, and I really did like it. However, like I said, the shade was too deep, so I had given that to my mom. Then I have the Skinfinite Hydrating Foundation, which looks like this. Again, I struggle to pick my shades on the website, so this is also too deep, and it's in the shade Cashew, sorry. And then I have the matte one as well, which is currently in the UK, and that one is in the shade Cappuccino, which is deeper than this. So I'm really struggling with finding my shade on the site. I really haven't won with that. I ordered a couple of small sample ones as well, and those were also the incorrect shade. So I'm not even sure if my shade actually exists. But I'm going to go ahead and use this Skinfinite Hydrating Foundation. And it is like a runny serum-like texture. And I'm going to go ahead and use a Sheglam sponge as well. These are crazy because they come about that small and they grow so much in size. Mine's stained, so don't look at that. And I'm just going to apply it with this. Let's put it on one side of the face so you can have a look. I think I first tried this foundation in the beginning of the year. It might have been in January, if not last year. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was this year. But this year's a blur. I've been through so much this year and I'm still here just grinding away. Been like very crazy year. So that blended out really quickly, but as you can see, the shade is a little bit off. But it's very luminous. It doesn't accentuate anything, and I do really like the texture of it. I can't compare it to TEMU in that respect because I didn't try any skin products. I just tried it on the back of my hand because those colors were way off. I don't know. I can't speak to that, but I really do like this foundation. I just wish it matched my skin better, but I still like the texture of this. Hopefully we can rectify it with some powder and some concealer, but we'll have to see about that. So I tried to take it a little bit Dominic, but as you can see, still doesn't really match, but it's okay. We'll deal with it. But this is what it looks like all over the face. I really like it and I could recommend. I just, like I said, wish I could find my actual shade, but maybe I should find like a mixer, like maybe a really light shade and mix them together because I really do like the texture of this. Would 100% recommend this. And also it comes in like a glass bottle. Like it's not like super cheap packaging, which I love about the brand, and because it's a lot more affordable than, for example, L'Oreal or Maybelline, it's way more accessible. So usually I would go in with bronzer first, but because I really dislike the concealer, I think I'm gonna go in with that now just so we can rectify any imperfections with some blush and some bronzer. So for concealer, this is the only one I currently have. I decluttered the other one because it was also very dry and not my favorite texture. So this is the Perfect Skin High Coverage Concealer. Again, this was in the worst makeup I tried for 2024. It's like paint mixed with glue, and it doesn't help that I got a shade that is way too light for me. I got the shade Honey. Really don't like this, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pop it on the back of my hand just so I don't go too crazy because, like I said, it's like paint and it's very difficult to move. So I'm going to take the tip of my sponge and then I have it on the back of my hand and I'm just going to try and work it into the sponge slightly and then pop this under the eye. It is a very full coverage, like I said, and yeah, it's like paint. It literally doesn't move once it's dried down, so do be careful. But once again, I do think also having the shade that's too light for you can kind of highlight the imperfections. But usually high coverage concealers are more drying in my opinion. So yeah, just watch out for that and just, you've been warned. See, it's a very stark contrast and I personally don't like that. I don't know if it's happened yet, but apparently in South Africa we were having a pop-up store, a Sheglam pop-up store where they would display all the products and you can test them out. However, you cannot buy from them. You still have to order from their website. That was in Johannesburg and I'm in Cape Town, but I think it would be great if they had that in Cape Town as well, so we could just have a look at the products before we commit to buying it. Maybe like choose your shades so that you know for future reference, but it's very, very difficult. The same as TEMU was, like just picking your shades, you kind of have to go based on swatches and pictures, and it's really difficult to be able to tell when they use the wrong type of model. Like for the foundation I used from TEMU, they described it as like more of a medium deep, but I mean, the name was chocolate, I should have known. Definitely wasn't accurate, so it's a bit difficult. And because it's coming from China, you can't really return it that easily, and I just didn't feel like it was worth the effort, to be honest, for like a 30 rand skin tint. Definitely not worth it. I think I made the concealer work, but like I said, it's very dry, very crepey, like it's just not my preferred formula. But let's move into bronzer. So for bronzer, I have the Snatch and Define stick. Looks like that. Very pretty packaging once again, and I got mine in Earthy Sepia. So it's just a normal stick, and I kind of just want to use my sponge again for this. So I'm going to pick some up on the back of my sponge and then go ahead and pop that on the cheeks. Really gloomy today. It's like dark outside at the moment, so sorry if the lighting changes. You know what? Applying this with a sponge is actually the best it's ever applied on my skin. I don't know what's sticking there, but something's sticking there. But yeah, it's the best. Normally it lifts my foundation and gets a little bit patchy, but I actually think that looks really nice. I'm not gonna lie, the reason why I'm also using the sponge so much is because I really need to wash my brushes. So I have like all of these that need washed, and this is all that I have that's clean and possible to use. In desperate need of washing them, but I'm so lazy, I'm not in the mood for it. Like, I hate washing my brushes. It's probably the worst thing. When I first started my channel, I loved it. I thought it was like a great chore to do while I was watching YouTube. Now I can think about 100 other things that I could do instead. I've been trying to phase out of doing my nose contour like this, but my makeup just doesn't feel complete if it's not done. Like, I know people make fun of it because of the lines and stuff. I just feel like my makeup's not complete. So I really like this. I've said it before. No, I haven't. I think I said I disliked it, but this is the best it's ever looked on my skin, and I think I'm turning to like it. I might add it into my project pan for next year. I really like the way that looks. Next we have the correlating blush, and it's the Snatch and Blush Stick, and I got mine in Next Dimension, and it's a nice like peachy tone. Do I want to use a brush for this, or am I going to use my sponge again? That is the question. I don't really have a brush that I want to use with it, so maybe I'll just use the other side of the sponge, multi-purpose of a sponge. So you're just using it like that, and I'm just gonna pop it on my cheek over here. So it is only a light wash of color, but that's perfect if you're using it underneath a more prominent powder blush, and just for longevity purposes, I think this is great, but I could have chosen a deeper shade for sure. These I do not like to swipe onto my face because they do lift your foundation, just so you're aware, but I think if you're using a more lightweight foundation, it won't be as noticeable, but for me, definitely with this foundation underneath, it would show through. But yeah, it has a very waxy texture, so do be careful, like I said, but I do love the color. I love me an orangey peachy blush. I think that looks really nice, and it's helped with the starkness of the concealer. So yeah, I really do like this, and I like the shade. I do prefer it over the other formula, well, this over the other formulas I've tried, which I'll talk to you in a sec. I think I like the bronzer now. I'm trying to think what it was like from TEMU. I think the shades were a little bit whack because they don't really cater to deeper skin tones. Like, I'm a medium skin tone, and there wasn't a lot of options for me. So in that respect, I think that Sheglam is so much better. Like, their foundation range is quite expansive, so there should be something for everyone. Like I said, I can't find my exact shade, but it's close enough. I could pass this off for sure. So in that respect, I think that Sheglam is much better. So like I said, the other formula blush that I do have is this one, and it is the Color Bloom in Risky Business. I know everybody absolutely loves these, but for me, I find it very shimmery, and it has like glitter in it, and I don't like the finish of it. So these are not my favorite. I've tried 2 different types now, and I really don't enjoy them. So in my opinion, it's not worth a hype. I know like Laura Lee and Manny and all those people are sponsored by them and absolutely love them, but for me, I don't think it's the best formula. I even prefer the Profusion ones better than this. Like, they're more pigmented and more malleable, where this is, I don't know, it's kind of like a gel texture. I just don't like how it moves around, and then that glitter at the end of it is not my favorite. With the highlighter, which I'm gonna use because I don't have something else, this is the highlighter that correlates with that blush, and it is the Glow Bloom highlighter in Tea Cake, and it looks like that inside. Again, it is a gel texture, so I just don't feel like it sits nicely on my skin personally. I do have more textured skin, so it just doesn't do much for me, if I'm being honest. So I'm just gonna add it to the top of my cheeks. Look, it's very glittery. It's like little fine pieces of glitter, and it looks like a unicorn sneezed in my face. So that is all the liquid products I think that I have. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give this all a second to amalgamate, and then we'll move on. For powders, we have 2. I have another one of these, but again, I hate saying this because it's becoming very monotonous, but I have it in the UK, but I have the like more skin toned one. But this is the Sheglam Insta Ready Face and Under Eye Duo, and I got mine in the shade Bubblegum. I think it's way too light for my skin tone. And the other one I have in the shade Almond, so it's more my skin tone. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my under eyes with the loose powder. I always forget to shut this, and then it ends up leaking everywhere. I also got these little puffs from there, and it's Mange. Let's tap out the creases, although I don't think that'll help. And I'm just going to set my under eye with that. Like I can feel my wrinkles under my eyes like stick together with this concealer, which is why I just like it so much. Maybe if you have better skin and younger skin, this might work perfectly for you, but unfortunately not for me. And that's what that looks like. It actually looks nice at the moment, and I think it's because the concealer was so light that this kind of dulled that down. So it's looking all right now. I don't hate the powder, I just think that I didn't pick the right shade, but you do get a pressed powder on top as well. But like I said, I prefer the one that's more my skin tone, but I couldn't bring all the makeup home with me that's in the UK just because my bag was already overweight. So I didn't get to bring that home with me, but I did bring back this one because it was newer. But then I also have this powder, which is the Baked Glow Setting Powder in Translucent, and it's in the name, it's a glowy powder. I don't know why it says bake. I guess so you can bake with it, but it is quite glowy. You'll see. It's almost like an iridescent glow, which isn't bad, but it doesn't keep my face set for a very long time. So it does come out like white. Let me see if I can show you. So I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it's over there on my hand, and as you can see, it's quite reflective. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set my face with this. I'm going to take off my makeup after this video anyway because I have some other things to film. Yeah, it's not the best for like my skin concerns because yeah, it just accentuates things. I mean, if you're in the market for a more glowy powder, I think this would be great because it still sets your makeup but then lets a little bit of glow through. So this is what it's looking like, and as you can see, because it's more of a silver sparkle, it doesn't quite suit my skin tone, and it does something funny to my skin. It kind of ashens it, if you can see. It does give you a glow if you are into that. Clearly it's not made for my skin type, but because it was translucent, I thought it would work because translucent is usually a universal color, not this. I think I might declutter this at the end of the year. I'm not sure because it really doesn't do anything for me. So the last powder product I actually have is a highlighter. I do not have a powder blush or a powder bronzer, so I'll have to just jump off camera to do that. I literally always love the idea of these, but they never look nice on my skin tone. So this is the Metallic Glow highlighter in Stay Sane, and as you can see, it's like a purpley color, but this is literally like, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but it's loose glitter. But I'm just going to add this on. I mean, we already look bad enough. None of the products are like super terrible, but it just depends on your preference. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, my face isn't looking the best, but I'm going to jump off camera, just put on some blush and some bronzer. Next, for setting spray, this is honestly one of my all-time favorite setting sprays. I like it better than I do the Urban Decay, and that's usually my absolute fave, but this is really good. I did the little spray test where you put eyeshadow on it. There's a whole short on it if you want to check it out. This holds so well. There's another one in the blue. It smells like a holiday, and it just does the job. I've used it very sparingly because I don't necessarily want to use it up while I have ones that I like a little bit less. I think I might even use this on my wedding day. Wait, the spray is a bit clogged at the moment because I haven't used it for so long. There we go. The only thing I do not like about this is the packaging. I always go to put it down and it just rolls straight over. So the mist is so fine, I can't even feel it hit my skin, so I always end up adding too much as well because it's literally, you cannot feel it. I literally thought I heard something outside and I tripped over the leg of my light and went flying. So next, let's move into eyes. So I only have this one palette on hand, and it is the Stay Fuego palette, the Mexico City one. Looks like this inside, but I have terrible luck with these. I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but the eyeshadows are just chalky and not good at all. The shimmer shadows do not stick, and the mattes are so chalky, they just don't stick and they don't actually give you a very good impact. But I'm gonna speed through just quickly creating something, and then I will check back in with you guys and let you know if my opinion has changed, because I actually haven't used this for a really long time. I actually gave it to my mom to use, but I borrowed it just for today's video. I have a couple other palettes that both of them just do not give me what I want. When I first started in makeup, I didn't know different qualities, and I thought the first one I got was great, but it really wasn't. So now I've gone back and used it, and I'm like, what was I thinking? I'm gonna go ahead and speed through this, and then I will let you guys know what I think. Not my favorite. This is what I kind of did. Not great. The shimmers, like I said, they just don't stick. As soon as you start blending or anything, it just flicks away, and yeah, not great. Wouldn't recommend their eyeshadows. I would much rather go for an Essence one because this is just chalk. It's colored chalk and it doesn't work great in my opinion. So I would say pass on this. Like, no matter how cheap it is, it's not worth it. It's a waste of money, in my opinion. I don't have a mascara. I had one mascara from them, but it really made my eyelashes itch and it was too sticky, so I got rid of that. So I do not have that, but let's go ahead and just quickly talk about lips. So for lips, I have 3 options. The first one is maybe my oldest, and it is the matte lipstick in ambiguous beige. It's just looks like that, kind of like a Kiko Milano, and the shade looks kind of like that. And this is my oldest one I had. This was my very first Shein order back in, I want to say 2020 or 2021 when I first did my channel. It was like the 3rd video I ever did. That is that one. And then this is the 2nd order I ever made, and this is the, can't even see, I don't know what the name of this one is, but it is just in the shade Heartbreak, and I think it's called like Dazzling Shine or something like that, and it is like the more luxe one, and it looks like that. I really do like the shade of that. And then the last one we have, which is my most recent one, and it is the Sheglam. You can never see this on camera, I always hate that, but it's the Lip Plumper. That's it, the Lip Plumper, and I got mine in Hot Cacao. So I'm going to use this, but I'm not going to use a lip liner with it because it is really soft and like almost like a gloss. So I just want to add this to my lips. It's not really lip plumping in my opinion. I don't feel anything personally. I like the color, but I'm not a gloss girl, so I don't love it. I think it looks really nice. I should actually get another one. Maybe a red would be really nice. That is everything. I'm just going to jump off camera and do some mascara, let down my hair, and then we will close up this video. So this is our full-ish face of Sheglam. Let me know what you guys think. So after all of that, Sheglam or TEMU? I'm conflicted because TEMU has some incredible options because there are lots of different vendors, whereas Sheglam only has basically their own brands and then like dupes. Some of the products are great and some not, and the same with TEMU. There is a slight price difference, and I do think Sheglam is more expensive, but like I said, I do think it's warranted because they make and produce, work on discovering their own products, where TEMU just is a third-party seller. So I don't know, I can't say. They're both good for different things. Their main website, I think you can find a lot of the same things on, but with makeup, Sheglam obviously has its own thing. It's like an entire entity of its own. I do really still like Sheglam. I'm not saying I don't like it. A lot of people do like diss it and hate on it because of the fast fashion and all of that stuff, but unfortunately, like I said, we live in South Africa. We only have so many options available to us. So we do not have Elf, we do not have Colourpop, we do not have all those other little brands that you guys have. We had Wet n Wild, Maybelline, L'Oreal, Revlon, Essence, Catrice, and maybe a couple of others like Albe and Palladio, which are not great brands. We have LA Girl, but it's way more expensive for us. So I think that for like trendy things, Sheglam is a great option for us, and so is TEMU. So I'd say if you were conflicted about which one to try out, see which one fits your budget. Either one could be great in my opinion. But anyway, that is everything I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments if there's anything else you want to see. I do have a couple of new products, but I think I'm going to do shorts with them. But yeah, that's everything from me. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, please remember to like and subscribe and click the bell icon for notifications every time I upload. I do also have a book channel, like I've said many times, so go check me out if you want to see more content. But other than that, see you guys next week. Bye guys!